U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance has confirmed that the U.S. is considering providing Kyiv with Tomahawk missiles.
German Defense Minister Boris Pistorius called Russia the greatest threat to NATO as he visited Poland and the Baltics to discuss defense initiatives.
Moldova's pro-European party, founded by President Maia Sandu, has won a high-stakes parliamentary election. From demonstrations to boycott calls, the Irish are among Europe's most fervent supporters of the Palestinians. U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance has confirmed that the U.S. is considering providing Kyiv with Tomahawk missiles, as Moscow continues to refuse bilateral and trilateral peace talks brokered by President Donald Trump. According to reports, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky had asked the United States to sell Tomahawks to European nations that would send them to Ukraine.
We're certainly looking at a number of requests from the Europeans. And one of the things, again, that I think has really worked about the president's policy in Ukraine and Russia is that it's forced the Europeans to step up in a big way. So as you know, Martha, we're no longer just giving tons of money and weapons. What we're doing is asking the Europeans to buy that weaponry.
Meanwhile, U.S. Special Envoy to Ukraine Keith Kellogg said the Trump administration would authorize long-range strikes by Ukraine into Russia.
I think reading what he has said and reading what Vice President Vance has said, as well as Secretary Rubio, the answer is yes. Use the ability to hit deep. There are no such things as sanctuaries. That's one of the reasons I believe that this last week, and it has been confirmed, that President Zelensky asked President Trump to get Tomahawk missiles, which give you a depth.
Both decisions are likely coming as the impatience grows at the White House over Russia's stance regarding the direct talks with Ukraine aimed at putting an end to Moscow's ongoing all-out war.
German Defense Minister Boris Pistorius called Russia the greatest and most immediate threat to NATO as he spoke at the Warsaw Security Forum on Monday. Pistorius slammed Moscow for its repeated violations of European nations' airspace, which he called reckless and dangerous. The German defense chief confirmed that Russian drones flew over a German frigate in the Baltic Sea before violating Polish and Estonian airspace and visiting German army contingent in neighboring Lithuania, reaffirmed Berlin's commitment to strengthening defenses against such threats.
It's about improving the capacities passively and actively in terms of air defense, and therefore, of course, we will see whatever is possible in the weeks and months to come.
He noted that Germany will contribute to projects and initiatives to bolster the Defense Alliance's eastern flank, but declined to elaborate, saying it's too early to announce specific plans. He also reaffirmed Berlin's steadfast commitment to Ukraine's defenses, revealing that his country will send an additional 2 Patriot missile defense systems to Kyiv by 2026.
This is an example of the Finnish comprehensive security model. It's one of 50,000 underground bedrock shelters all across Finland. This one here in the centre of Helsinki is 20 metres underground. It has strong bomb blast protection and at its peak can hold 6,000 people, but it means that each person would have less than 1 metre squared each in a time of war. Now the idea is that this would only be triggered, people would only come to these shelters if there is war, if there is bombs raining from the sky, as one government official said to me. They've never been used, but the feeling is that Finland has always had to protect itself from its neighbours, in particular Russia, because Finland has the largest border with Russia within NATO territory, over 1,300 kilometres. So they hope that they'll never have to use them, but they are here for each citizen and then some.
Moldovan President Maia Sandu's party has won the country's parliamentary elections.
Rezultatul votului nu este victoria unui partid sau a unor alegători. Este victoria țării. Și această victorie trebuie să o folosim pentru binele tuturor cetățenilor, indiferent pentru cine au votat. Votul de ieri este un mandat puternic pentru procesul de aderare a Republicii Moldova la Uniunea Europeană.
Igor Grosu, leader of the ruling Action and Solidarity Party, stressed that this is a victory for the entire nation in the face of Russian attempts to influence the electoral process.
Federația Rusă a aruncat în luptă tot ce are mai murdar. Tone de bani, tone de minciuni, tone de ilegalități. Noi am venit în luptă cu ce avem mai sfânt, oameni.
Around 300 people protested in front of the parliament in Chisinau against the election results at the request of leader of the pro-Russian patriotic bloc opposition. Igor Dodon accused the election of being rigged without providing any evidence as he spoke at the demonstration, which lasted just under half an hour. Several opposition parties have already filed complaints with the Central Election Commission.
Opoziția, toate partidele de opoziție au învins în țară în aceste alegeri parlamentare. PAS a venit la guvernare pe speranța și așteptările oamenilor. Acum PAS a venit pe frica oamenilor.
Moldova is moving closer to the EU. The party backed by the president, Maia Sandu, just won the elections with the majority in the parliament. The future government will continue the reforms toward the integration process. Meanwhile, the pro-Russian opposition just suffered a defeat. From Chisinau, Republic of Moldova, for Euronews Romania, Felicia Macaleț.
The ships of the global Sumud flotilla are approaching the last part of their journey, with 2 or 3 days of sailing before reaching the waters in front of the Gaza Strip. This will be crunch time for the civilian-led convoy carrying humanitarian aid for Palestinians, as the Israeli Navy is likely to block the vessel's passage. Israel will not allow ships to enter a combat zone, said Israeli Foreign Minister Gideon Sa'ar. The flotilla crew seems prepared for the risk.
Quello che ci aspettiamo è che, come è successo con le barche precedenti, a un certo punto ci sia un intercetto delle forze israeliane che potrebbero intimarci l'alt e potrebbero arrestarci. Questa è una cosa che mettiamo in conto. È chiaro che nessuno vuole fare il kamikaze, nessuno vuole fare il martire. Quello che vogliamo fare è far crescere la pressione politica e diplomatica attorno a questa missione, soprattutto perché l'obiettivo è Gaza, non è certo la missione stessa. Quindi fare in modo che, una volta arrivati lì, la pressione sul governo di Israele, non sulla flottiglia, sia tale che si possa essere utili al ripristino di questo corridoio umanitario.
The flotilla was attacked by drones while sailing in international waters a week ago. The attack damaged some of the boats, forcing the fleet to pause in Crete, and led a few people from the crew to disembark. After that episode, the Italian government proposed that the flotilla leave the humanitarian aid in Cyprus to be transferred to the Gaza Strip, under the supervision of the Catholic Patriarchate of Jerusalem. The flotilla's board refused the offer, despite maintaining an open dialogue with the Patriarchate.
Il governo italiano in Europa blocca sospensione degli accordi di associazione con Israele. Il governo italiano non ha messo l'embargo sulle armi, il governo italiano non ha preteso che ci sia un cessate il fuoco e un ripristino dell'ingresso degli aiuti. Quindi è evidente che una mossa del genere, se non, come dire, appunto molto goffa, sicuramente può sembrare un sabotaggio.
An Italian and a Spanish military ships are following the humanitarian convoy, but neither vessels are authorized to enter Gaza's water nor to face Israel's navy in case of an intervention against the flotilla. Vincenzo Genovese, Euronews.
From demonstrations to boycott calls, the Irish are among Europe's most fervent supporters of the Palestinians. According to a survey published in 2024, 71% of those polled believe that Palestinians live in an apartheid system set up by Israel. Irish support for the Palestinian cause is rooted in their own experience of British occupation.
British colonization next door gives us this kind of almost natural empathy towards other colonized peoples. I mean, we have our own experience and our own history of enforced starvation through An Gorta Mór, the Great Hunger. We have our own experience of mass displacement, forcible violent displacement on many occasions. And then we also have experience of other forms of colonial violence.
British police officers known as the Black and Tans committed abuses against civilians both in Ireland and later in British Mandate Palestine. Dublin has also experienced the peace process of the Northern Irish conflict, which pitted the Republicans, supporters of Irish reunification, against the Unionists loyal to the British Crown. It ended in 1998 with the Good Friday Agreement.
L'Irlande propose ses services pour essayer de transposer ou de partager son expérience du processus de paix dans d'autres territoires et en particulier ici par rapport au conflit au Moyen-Orient.
Ireland officially recognized the state of Palestine on the 28th of May 2024, but the support is not new. As far back as 1958, Ireland defended the right of return and compensation for Palestinian refugees before the UN. In 1974, Ireland was one of the first European countries to recognize the Palestine Liberation Organization as the representative of the Palestinians. Ireland's independence movement, Sinn Féin, and its armed wing, the IRA, have had close ties with the PLO. In Northern Ireland, the sentiment is more divided, with the Protestant Unionists showing solidarity with Israel, while the pre-reunification Catholic Republicans support the Palestinians.